Welcome to the Binge-worthy Podcast, part of the SMG Podcast Marathon 2018. As our team is getting up here, we have our audience of thousands. We're going to talk about X-Files.
The glow in here is going to get real bright.
Yeah, so put your sunglasses on because somebody...
I can't talk about X-Files without...
Yeah, somebody's got a little love going on.
I'm going to try.
For the cigarette smoking man.
No.
And
It's like Spider-Man
let's introduce ourselves. Who's on the end?
I am Chris Mao, co-owner of Blue Box Cafe and co-host of this show and several others on the Southgate Media Group Network.
And he's a cat. Chris Meow. Okay, you.
Oh.
That's his stripper name.
Oh.
This has taken it. You know what? I just ate.
All right, get your dollars out.
corn.
Chris
Hold
Meow
on.
is coming up.
She ate and is thinking about David Duchovny, so
Oh, that's true.
I have a really
That could
filthy
be
joke
why.
I'm going to use, but I'll say it later at the Ram when we're doing the pub.
it's dirty.
Pub trivia. Yes. Go ahead, Mark.
Does it involve? Okay. Hi.
What do I do to deserve
I'm
this?
Martha
Nothing.
Southgate. I'm co-owner of Southgate Media Group.
Meow.
And I'm on many, many fine podcasts, such as Orange is the New Black.
Come on, we only got 25
I
minutes.
am Molly Southgate.
I don't know. Oh,
I'm on a lot of
she cut me
podcasts.
off.
Because you were taking too long. We have to go fast. Nah. Okay. We're on a lot of I'm on a lot of podcasts and on this podcast, and I have 4 cats at home. So
And I'm Rob Southgate.
well, we started talking about cats.
Co-owner of Southgate Media Group, and I'm on a lot of shows too. But this is binge-worthy. So we are talking today the X-Files. So
The Sound of Music? No, we're
Wait,
talking about
that's-
X-Files.
That's production value.
yeah. So all right. So Martha, you usually start us off. Can you handle
I
this
do?
today? Yes. You
Oh,
usually
yeah.
talk about the show.
So
what we're going to do?
I didn't know
Okay,
that.
I'll start us off.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about the show as a whole. Sometimes we do a particular season. Sometimes we do, like in this case, they did the not a reboot, but they brought it back. So that was 7 seasons, and then we had the last 2. No, that was 8 seasons, and then we had the last 2. It was 9 seasons, and
worst.
we had the last 2.
Thank you. He gets
All
there
right, so it was
eventually.
9 seasons, and we had the last 2.
It had some shows and then more shows.
Yes.
But I would rather talk about it as a whole, as 11 full
That's what it is.
seasons. Yeah. Well, I just want to
Plus,
make sure we're
plus
setting
2 movies.
plus 2.
The movies count.
Wait,
Well,
did you hear her voice got a little higher there?
No.
I might say
Did it go up?
There
you
are
might
movies.
say a movie and a half.
What?
Oh, I like the movies.
I'm gonna push you
I like
right
the
off the
second
stage.
movie a lot.
Yeah, I do too. The first one.
That's got Billy
My favorite
Madison
part
in it.
is at the end when
Billy
she
Connolly.
lives in the boat.
It's not Billy
So
Madison.
good.
Billy
My
Connolly.
favorite part is
Shut-
the end
okay, I
in the
hate
boat
that part.
when she
Okay,
waves
that's the
up
one
at
part
the
that's
camera.
pretty dorky.
So,
It's my favorite.
How do you feel about Annabeth Gibbs?
so how many episodes did it?
I feel better now.
Martha, how many episodes
I
ran?
feel.
It was 11 seasons. Do you know how many
episodes total?
Do you know?
210,
18.
I think, but I better check.
It was 210.
It's going to be kind of sad if I actually knew that
It was
number off the top of my
210
head.
before
It's gonna
this
be
last
210.
series. It was 218 altogether.
218. All
Where
right.
do you get that information?
On
And-
Wikipedia that I'm looking
Right
at.
now?
Yeah, no, I'm lying.
And I would say that every episode starred
218
David
ounce
Duchovny and
close.
Gillian Anderson, but that's not true. In 9 and 10, no, 8 and 9, David
He
was not on.
only in one season. He was in he was in 2 episodes, but that was because he was in a contract dispute. He was in a dispute because they swindled him out of money.
Right. And then they brought him back in the last season. Actually, that last episode of season 9 when he was back, that was
Yeah.
or 10?
8.
9? That was
This
good
is
Lord.
great.
Nine.
The one it was
No,
You're getting
it was
me
what
all
we-
thrown
8.
off.
It was the one that we thought was the final season.
Mm-hmm.
That episode, they brought him back. Spoiler, they killed cigarette smoking man. Spoiler, he's not dead.
Oh yeah.
That was a spectacular episode and a great way to end things. In fact, I think better than the way they ended season 11. Gillian was on basically the whole time, though. Mm-hmm. Was there ever an episode that she wasn't on?
There were, yes, because of the pregnancy, I think.
Okay.
They had her abducted, remember?
Oh,
she was
right.
lost for one episode. She was lost for the episode with the vampires when Mulder was about to kiss the one that made Mom angry.
I got over it.
No,
Did you?
you
I've
didn't.
matured. I've
you
matured
were watching that
Did
going,
you?
since last
"Ugh."
week. I've
What about
matured.
Maria Covarrubias?
Okay,
you
I
over
hate
that?
her.
Yeah.
Mom,
Okay.
what about
Anyone that
Annabeth
challenges
Gibbs?
I like
Mulder's
her
love
now.
for Scully makes Martha crazy.
Whatever.
Yeah?
Oh, what about that episode when Mulder was dancing with the one that and like went to.
Phoebe Green.
Look at this. She knows every
Yeah.
character and every
like,
actor's
Phoebe?
name from the show.
And then-
Now, Chris, you watched the X-Files, right?
I did, yeah.
But you didn't like it?
No, I loved it. I just wasn't into it as like religiously as other people.
What are you looking at me for?
Well, no, I'm just because you're the first one in line. I'm just saying that I mean, I enjoyed it, especially the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then I kind of lost my way with it, and I watched it when I could, but I wasn't rampant about it because I can't. There was something else that came up.
Pimp My Ride?
Pimp
No,
My
you're
Ride.
really into
Something.
that.
I mean, I just can't remember, but something else caught my eye. But I thought like when it became just like this cool show and became like the It show, I kind of lost it then.
Okay.
Which even though it was a really big show right away, the first couple seasons they kind of have mapped out.
By the
Season
third
3,
year is when it really hit
became-
its stride.
Yeah.
That was the show everybody was watching.
That was when Scully's outfits actually.
I want to say
improved.
Friends,
Yeah, and her hair.
came. I don't know, something came along.
But
Seinfeld,
You
the
gave
thing
up
about
X-Files for Friends?
sure.
the thing about this show was
Terrible.
that we really didn't have a strong female character like her.
Right.
And it's been shown now. It's been 25 years that there are so many women who became scientists or doctors because of her that they actually name it the Scully
Effect.
effect.
Do they?
Yeah, because
I know
cool.
that Star Trek had that effect. A lot of people say that Uhura did that because she was a science officer, and wasn't she? She was something.
Communications officer.
Okay. But a lot of people have said that got them into sciences and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff was her, and the fact that she was, an African-American woman and all that. So I didn't know that Scully had that same kind of effect.
So what I want to touch on a little bit is that even though it appeared to be a show that has a strong female character or whatever, there were so many things that they were still so backwards
Okay,
on.
you know what they would make her do? Every time they got out of a car, she was forced to walk like 5 steps behind
They told
him.
her to always walk 4 or 5 paces behind him.
I tell
going-
Martha to walk 3 paces behind me,
Now,
so
I
I
don't
think
know,
I'm much
though.
more evolved.
I think maybe that might have been because of their height difference, because she couldn't stand on her box when they were walking. Like she couldn't stand on her
Stand on
ramp
her box.
because she had to stand on. They named it the Jilly box, but she had to walk up ramps and because they had such a big height difference. There was like a foot. It's like Rob and I, and so when they were filming, they would have to do these things. So it
Exactly.
may be that they had to do
Exactly.
that for that. But there were even in the latest series and this latest season, she was only offered half of his pay.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
And-
she was originally offered half of his pay. I learned all this from Mom. She was originally offered half his pay.
Because she homeschooled that.
I homeschool.
Hey, I didn't get an
X-Files.
X-Files class when I was in school.
All right, so what?
Okay, but
I had
they
gym.
originally offered her half of his pay, and then she fought, and they gave her the full thing. And then when she came back, they gave her half.
They
again.
did it again. They keep trying to do that. So and there were just
It was
things,
like me negotiating. But what if I gave you half?
right? But
No, I want full. Okay, but you said half, right?
so there were a lot of things like that, though. So
Yeah.
as progressive as it felt, there was
It
a lot
wasn't.
going on with Fox. With the
Wait,
studio,
Fox Mulder
no,
or
the
Fox
studio, where
There's
there
a lot going-
and
a
the
lot,
and the
What
about
directors,
Red
there were
Fox?
hardly any women writers, hardly ever any women directors. There was just a lot of. It was a very misogynistic
Yes.
environment,
Yes.
and
But I think that was true of a lot of TV, a lot of media.
but you wouldn't expect it as much in a series where they're trying to showcase a
Right.
strong woman.
No, I
Yeah.
agree with you.
It's
I
a
agree
little
with you.
weird how
I'm not
there was
giving it
like
I'm
a
not giving it a pass.
discrepancy
and I'm not,
there.
I'm not saying that it's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is I think that even though it was a show that was doing good in some ways, it was not an abnormal situation, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah. As you started doing this whole conversation, I was so close to getting up on my Disney soapbox that would have lasted for a really long time.
Why are you on a Disney soapbox?
Because I'm always on one. But
What does that even mean? Why?
it means like you're getting up on a soapbox, but it's about a certain topic. And about Belle, how
Were you
they-
drinking today?
About Belle? What
Yes.
about
She had dairy.
She
This is
originally.
what happens.
I know I didn't. Actually,
Okay, she didn't.
But but
Okay,
with Belle in it, they. So you know how progressive
They
she
gave her
was
half
for
the
that.
pay?
No,
Okay, let her say it. So we can move
So
on with
the
that.
original creator for the movie was a woman, and she had her like doing a map of the places she wanted to go, and Disney actually changed it to her like baking a cake. So I was thinking that might be what's happening.
Oh.
So they changed it to baking a cake, and then she like fought to make it like that. So that reminded me.
You
of
guys
that.
are really mean because that was a really relevant comment.
Interesting. It was.
It
Thank
was.
you,
It
Molly.
was. I liked it.
Yeah.
Well, at least one Southgate's on.
We appreciate
She
it.
got on her Molly box.
She did.
Yeah.
Like
I
the chili
like
box.
that.
Yes.
Except
So-
I'm tall.
Okay, are we allowed to talk about things like our favorite
I don't know.
seasons
Let
or
me get the
favorite
handbook
episodes?
for this show.
Okay, because I want to say out of this
Mommy.
last season, for season 11, my favorite episode only had 20 lines of dialogue.
Oh, really?
Familiar? I think it was, no, it was a jumble of letters and numbers. I think it was when they go on their
It was-
sushi date.
Ooh, when they go on the sushi date.
Okay, but we
That
can't
was-
say anything. You can't spoil.
No, but that was very much like inspired by William Gibson. That was
It
very
was
much a
fun.
internet paranoia. Did you see that one, Chris?
Yes,
I
I,
loved
did.
it.
It was
It was a
great.
fantastic
and they
episode.
did everything
It was a techno paranoia episode.
without
Jenny, you
dialogue.
watched that one?
Oh, you will.
You know what?
would
You're
like
missing
it
out,
all the
'cause
way up
this-
till the last episode
The newest season,
when they destroy.
all the way up until the final episode, is well, no. How many episodes? 10? There are 8 exceptional episodes.
Yes,
Wait.
Episode 1
which is pretty good.
and episode
for
10
the odds, I
are
suppose.
not great. Episode 1 sucks.
It's not that bad. It's
It
just
does.
you said all the
But-
exposition in the
But
front.
2 through is really good.
Yeah, but that particular
Really good.
one is it was just really, really interesting.
So
and
that's
fun
your
to
favorite
watch.
of the season, not of the
Oh,
series.
yeah, that's the one that's standing out to
You
me
got one
right
for the
now.
series?
I loved the guy with the tail.
Is it when
Favorite of the whole series.
is it when Mulder is in the red speedo?
Is
Ew,
it when Mulder's
no, I'm
holding
not
the
like
baby?
I'm not that kind of girl.
Mom, is it when Mulder's holding the baby?
I do love that. Okay, wait.
Mulder
we
holds a
can't say-
baby?
Because yeah.
Or are you talking about Walking Dead when Daryl holds the baby?
No, it's
That's creepy.
That's what should have been the series finale, maybe.
Mulder holding the baby?
When he comes in and meets his baby. It means Scully hands him his baby.
Mom has showed me that clip. There's so many things.
So, Chris, you got a favorite episode?
You know what? I can't.
It's really hard to come
I
up with a
can't
favorite.
specifically say because I just enjoyed it, and so I like I said, I really wasn't as into the show, so I can't say specific. But I just love their interaction, and I thought David Duchovny obviously became a star, being that California kind of laid back dude, but he was very passionate about what it was. And I always, if the smoking guy was in it, I loved the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Smoking Man.
I
Yeah.
love Skinner.
You
Skinner's
waited for
awesome.
Smoking Man. And that was
Yeah.
true. You and I used to, whenever there was a Smoking Man one, we were like, yes.
Yeah.
You know, they're always
And the
fun.
Lone
it's-
Gunman
but it's
until they
Scully and
screwed that up.
Right.
Yeah,
Wait,
they
what?
did.
Spoiler.
I mean, it was very iconic, and they did a great job of
love
intermingling
Lone Gunman.
those iconic things to keep you going. And it wasn't every episode; it was like every 2 or 3 or 4.
Right.
You know, when they had 22 episodes in those early seasons, and there was a lot of good. I mean, it was just a lot of good stuff, and they kept you interested. You know, it's kind of like analogous to like Supernatural, where they just did things like they fought aliens, and there was a direction, but it really wasn't evident. And then they had I hate to say they're filler, but they just did cool things that nobody else did.
Yes.
It's like
Right.
they're doing this, and then they said, hey, we need some kind of path.
Yeah.
And then to me, maybe that's when it kind of lost it, is when they kind of narrowed it. We're going to do it like this, as opposed to here's this crazy dude that nobody else believes in aliens.
I think
like
you
he
dropped
does.
off too early because I think it doesn't lose its way. In fact, it just gets better and better
Yeah, I
and better.
agree.
I have
Until,
See, I didn't buy that.
when
That's what I did.
David's gone.
Right.
And then it lost its way some.
I have
Well, see,
something interesting. So if you notice in the first episode, there's this big fire in their motel, and Mulder just sits there and he's like, "Oh no, a fire!" But he's not scared of it or anything. And then in like episode 6,
Called
there's
Fire.
called fire.
That's the one with Phoebe Green.
There is a giant fire, and he's like, fire! I'm so scared of fire. I've had a lifelong fear of it. And it's like you were
You were already in a fire.
literally
6
But
episodes
David
ago.
said that
Next to
too.
a
David
fire.
said that in an interview. He's like,
Well, that-
"Why am I all of a sudden afraid of fire?" He's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I'm afraid of fire."
that's called not having a show Bible.
This is the problem with Chris Carter.
It is a
that-
problem with it.
and so it fell
he
off
actually-
the rails quite a few times because
he actually
didn't have that.
was proud of the fact they didn't have a show
Yeah,
Bible.
it was not.
And they
something
needed
to be
one.
And
proud
really,
of.
that show needed it.
If he had one, that show would not have been beat Like there would
Right.
have been no way to top that. I mean, it was so brilliant, but because he didn't, they kept falling off the rails.
Right.
My favorites were anything Vince Gilligan did.
Yeah.
Who
went on to do
Breaking Bad, and anything that Darren Morgan. His are
Yeah,
all
his
the
are
funny ones.
really
Sweet,
well written.
Small Potatoes, the guy with the tail.
Oh yeah.
I
He
remember.
did Humbug. He did who we got to meet the Enigma guy from that show.
I have
That was
another-
the one with Jim Rose, Circus Sideshow.
Yeah, that was great.
I have another one that I love.
Is your favorite?
What?
One of your favorites? What is it?
One of my favorites. Now I forgot because I had it.
Perfect.
What is it? What happens in it?
I can't.
Is
even,
it the baseball one?
I haven't watched that one yet. Oh.
I love that one
Oh,
too.
That's
the
my
baseball.
favorite
Postmod-
scene.
I also
is
love
when he's teaching her. He's
Postmodern
playing
Pre-
Postmodern Prometheus.
It's
That's
another
Chris
one.
Carter
I was
directed that one.
I was actually going to name that one as my.
Yeah, I love that one.
Even though it's hard to say it's my favorite.
it's up
You're in a
there.
comic-
Whenever I think of that show, that particular episode is the first one I think.
Yeah,
of.
all
Even
done in
though-
black and white.
Yeah, it was just so great. They were
Like
doing
50s
like an
comic.
X-Files version of like a Frankenstein story.
Yeah.
It was so great. Actually, a better episode than that, though, and I love that episode. A better episode is Clyde
Bruckman with Peter Boyle.
Yeah, Peter Boyle. That one, watching that one, I mean, that could have been a movie. The way they wrote that. It's got great acting all the way around. It's got every X-Files element, too. It's got the conspiracy stuff. It's got the bizarre stuff going on. It's got playing with your head when they're doing the different dream sequences. It's got the funny stuff with Yappy, the amazing Yappy. I love that episode. To me, that is like the quintessential X-Files. Jenny, I'm putting you on the spot. I want to hear what your favorite is.
That is my favorite.
Is it? It's so great, isn't
I
it?
love
Yeah.
that one.
Now,
And that's when we find out Scully's immortal.
Now, who wrote that
Wait,
one,
what?
Marth?
Peter Boyle says that, or his character Clyde Bruckman tells Scully, she says, "Well, how do I die?" And he says, "You don't."
Yes.
And then later in this season, I believe it was this season or last season, she walks past Mulder and she says, "Remember, Mulder, I'm immortal."
Yes.
So,
Now, Marth,
Yeah.
who wrote that one?
who wrote
Clyde
Clyde
Bruckman. It was one of the big ones that wrote it.
Yeah, let me look it up.
The reason I ask, the same person that wrote Clyde Bruckman, there was a spin-off show called Millennium that was not real popular, but I really liked. And he wrote an episode of Millennium where the main character goes, I believe he goes to hell and meets these demons that are like on their coffee break. And it's the same vibe. It really is a great companion piece to Clyde Bruckman. It feels like it. It's funny, but it's really well written. And it's Lance Henriksen, who is,
David
awesome.
Nutter directed. It was Chris Carter and Darren Morgan.
Darren Morgan wrote that one.
Yeah.
That's what I was going after. He wrote the one on Millennium also.
And I love Bad Blood,
Yeah.
which is the one
The vampire one.
with the vampire one where Mulder
Got the-
tells
Oh.
his side of the story and Scully tells her side of the story, and Scully
Remember, I was drugged.
and Mulder tells it like and it's the actor is Owen's
Owen
brother.
Wilson.
No, Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson.
And so when Mulder tells his side of the story, Luke Wilson has big buck teeth, and he's all.
Yeah, and when she tells it, he's
and
gorgeous,
it's so
right?
funny.
And he's like,
it's
Well, it's got that
Louder.
red-haired kid from Alil will know this movie, the soccer movie with the kid with the red hair, in
Not
the poster.
soccer.
Yeah, it's a soccer movie where he's getting kicked in the nuts with a soccer ball on the poster. He's like, wah! It's not Ladybugs. I know you're a big fan of that. It's called like Green Machine or something. All right, never mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick
Yeah.
Renna.
Yeah, he was in Bad
Sandlot.
Blood. He plays a
Sandlot.
vampire.
Yeah, he was in Sandlot.
He was in Sandlot too. But I go right to the one where he's getting kicked in the nuts with a soccer ball.
Of course you would.
What's that called? Green Machine or something.
I think you're right.
Terrible.
The
I hate that I own that.
Oh, you.
Not as much as we do.
they had really fun guest stars, like that the Christmas one with
Oh my gosh, the Christmas
Ed Asner
one.
and Lily Tomlin.
Yeah. now
Oh my gosh,
that's
one
a great
was,
episode, and I love how they play with reality in that one.
Yeah.
When they go out of a room, they go out of a door, and then when they turn around, the door behind it is just not there, or it's bricked up, and you're just like, what? But wait, and then they're like, you're thinking you're seeing ghosts. We know as the audience they are clearly ghosts, and they're trying to pull this ploy. I thought that was a great episode, but frankly, see, I love this show.
I do
For
too.
me, what I love is different than what she loves. I love the relationship. That's what Martha loves. She loves those characters in the relationship. Yes, that draws me in. What really gets me is the conspiracy element of it.
Wait,
And frankly, they screwed that up a number of times to the point that it became a bummer. But until the X-Files movie, they did so much right with that. From the point of the X-Files movie, where they tried to explain
Are you
it,
talking about
tried to
Fight the Future?
Fight the Future. They screwed up the whole myth arc of the show. And it was from that point on that they were they killed off all the bad guys, except for Smoking Man, in one shot. It was what?
wait,
You're not
seriously?
supposed to spoil when
Sorry.
you do binge-worthy.
Well, okay, but that's the movie. I'm not spoiling the show.
I still haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah, you are. Go
Yeah.
ahead, sorry.
So anyway, well, you don't. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. So anyway, to me that was a bummer, but I still watched the
I
show.
loved that movie.
Waiting. I do. I love that movie. I love the second one even more. I think the second one's outstanding.
Yeah, I like the second one, except for that weird ending with the
The first
tag at
one.
the end with the
Yeah.
boat.
The
Yeah.
first one's
So
really
bizarre.
good, but it is more of a Hollywood trying to make an X-Files movie, whereas the second one is more like the
It felt
X-Files.
more like an
X-Files
episode.
making a movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was just an extended episode.
And I think those characters are amazing. Now, I got a question.
yeah.
Do you guys?
Believe.
Yes. Do you
Do you
guys?
want to believe?
This is Martha's probably going to give a hard no here, but
What?
let's go 5 years from now.
Yes.
Do you think that they should reboot it with new characters, new actors,
No.
new thing?
No,
I'm not talking
I
continuation.
don't care.
Never.
I don't
Never.
care if they did because to me this is a completed. This is a completed thing. And so for me, if they started over and did something completely different, I have no issue with that. It's not the same. If they found actors that look exactly like them, they need to go a completely
So
different
you'd be down
way.
with a reboot or a continuation, but
with totally different
Yeah.
people. It doesn't mean I'd watch it.
now if they did a reboot
But
and
it
they
doesn't-
called them Mulder and Scully, but they were completely different.
No.
No way.
No.
So
I don't
that's
think
what I'm
that you
getting at.
can. They're too iconic.
What
I
if
don't
they call
think
them
that you can
Sculver
mess
and
with-
Mully?
Well, like with Star Trek, when they rebooted, they have different actors playing Kirk and Spock and all
Yeah,
that. You know
no.
what? I fall into it. I accept
But
it.
they changed it enough to make it. I thought
So could they do that with X-Files?
No.
See, I think the hard part about X-Files is that at the time there wasn't a show that addressed that genre like that, and I think half of it in the beginning. Number one, they were great characters, but
Yeah.
I think half of it in the beginning was, hey, we're talking about aliens, and they'd never really been addressed on TV, so that gave them the spark to turn it over into something great.
Yeah.
I think if you redid that, it's kind of ho hum. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just. I mean,
I don't-
not that the stories weren't great, but they could have been with any context. It could have been murder mystery because those actors were great and that was mesmerizing. Do you know what I mean? I think it would be
Yeah.
hard to retread that. Although I might be up for it if they could do that and pull it off.
I wouldn't be.
I would
don't
like
know.
them to reboot with not doing Mulder and Scully,
Right.
but taking
Yeah.
a lot of those elements. Maybe make it Mulder and Scully are gone because it's different with them at the FBI right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe have another pair that gets dumped down. Follow some of those same tropes.
Yeah,
to
it's
get
like
it
have
started,
another pair and
but,
have
but
them
not a
figure
red-haired and
out.
a
No,
guy with baby
they
chick
can't
hair
look
and-
like them. But the thing that I could see
Make it a Lil.
because this season it addressed and last season
And Molly.
addressed the change in our country,
Right.
and a change in the way that those agencies function now. And so I think they absolutely could completely reboot with new people and talk about all those types of stories because we don't know. We
Right.
don't know that we now have all of these other, privatized groups that are able to come into this country and work as if they are
Well, it would
government.
be. It would be really interesting. Even if they kept it FBI and they kept these, it would
Yeah.
be really interesting. They didn't quite get there with this last season. There is so much because of social media and because of the internet of people and podcasts talking about conspiracies. And there's so much more in your face with this. Wouldn't it be interesting if now they were not only dealing with this, but they were navigating that And
then if they say one thing, the hate that they would get, the backlash.
yeah, I
The
mean,
problem is that exists. It's kind of like that conspiracy theory happened. I mean, if you're, I hate to say, if you're looking like at the Russian election probe.
Right.
I mean, that's real.
But see, that's just it. How cool would it be if they could reference that? Like, look, these were conspiracy theories, and
they came true.
it's true.
But they didn't they do that in the movies? Isn't that what the movies did? Is it proved the conspiracy? Come on,
really.
the one did. Absolutely, the one did. The second one did.
Yeah, but not to the
Not
public.
the second. The second one was the one with Billy Connolly, where
Yeah,
it
not
was
to the
more of a
public.
standalone
No,
X-Files.
so I mixed them up, but I'm just saying that
It was proven because they saw the UFO and they saw the
But
aliens.
she-
no, but there was the whole Illuminati thing with all those
Right.
guys in meeting. I mean, and
They were showing it, but they were showing
Yeah,
us
we
the
saw
audience.
those through the
but that
whole
wasn't,
series.
That wasn't like the curtain wasn't pulled back, and you have like
but
people.
it was
in the-
pulled back to them, which
It was
would
pulled back to them. I'm saying we live in a culture now where the curtain is pulled back and people are still questioning, but it's not just
I
a couple
still
of
don't
kooks
think
sitting up
it's
here.
pulled back.
Right.
There's
I
a lot
think it's
that
pulled
goes
back.
on that we don't
No,
see.
I know. I think
And
it-
so
I
they
think this
could,
would be a good time to
they could
reboot.
really do that, but do it based on now and not based
I'd like to see a
on-
reboot, but I'd like to see it be like
updated to modern.
And also a
updated and a
little bit more-
showrunner that builds a story arc, like a 5-year story arc,
Yeah.
like they do with the shows
Yeah.
now.
And
Also-
I prefer the 10 episode
Yeah,
season.
10 episodes are great.
Also,
Well, I'm sorry, Molly, go ahead.
oh, I was saying maybe you could flip it too. Maybe you could have. I like having it be a man and a woman, but maybe you could flip it and have it be the woman that believes.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
the man's like, no.
Absolutely, they could turn that, or they could have two women do the role. I mean,
Yeah.
the roles doing whatever. How does movies that have already explained aliens and contact and all that stuff, like The Arrival, change how you would feel about what the X-Files was? Because there really wasn't that. I mean, there was
But
Close
maybe-
Encounters of the Third Kind.
Maybe they stay away from aliens.
I mean, if they do, but then is that too much of the show?
Maybe
No.
yeah, but for the reboot, maybe stay away from aliens. Maybe the alien thing happens only once in a while. But your overall conspiracy is some cryptozoology thing, or
Sure.
it's the Russian probe thing, and it just keeps growing, and you make it more about paranoia and that kind of a thing as the theme, as
That
opposed to
sounds really
aliens.
But
Because
they
I don't
do
think-
So-
most of the shows though.
And it's like about people
haven't
that
been
tell-
about aliens.
But-
Most
Right, I
of
know,
them-
but that was the myth arc was
But
about the
whole,
Illuminati
the whole
group and the
conspiracy thing
aliens.
was alien based, though.
Right.
The whole conspiracy was based on there's aliens coming to
There's
take over the
alien
world.
technology.
Yeah.
But they kept going in and out of that, and they'd say there's alien technology, but then they would say there's it's not. It's that we've. This is man doing this.
Sure.
This is an alien.
Right.
Where it's men using alien technology. The aliens aren't here,
Right.
but we have their technology from a crash ship or something. Like there were elements of that,
Yeah.
but so many far more of the series as a whole was
Like
were these
telepathic links
standalones
and-
that were about ESP and genies and all the other. I mean, like a million different things. And so I think if they switched the conspiracy to not be alien but to be,
Super paranormal.
more paranormal and also governmental.
Yeah.
Like
so government paranoia and paranormal, that would be really cool.
But I think they touched on that with the episodes with Joel McHale.
Yes.
And I think those worked.
I do too.
One of my favorites though was it this season with
But
the
it might have
Chucklehead-
worked better if they had really relaunched it there without Mulder and Scully and tried a new approach.
Yeah.
So
What
we
is-
got to end. We actually
Wait.
have gone over time.
Oh crap! All right.
Sorry.
But we have to figure out our if this is binge-worthy. 'cause we have
Binge-worthy.
a
Oh,
criteria.
please.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay,
I think
so we're
I
not even
don't.
going to screw around with
I don't.
that.
I think it's binge-worthy. I don't think it's like run.
You
like,
can't watch 6 episodes at once.
I don't think it's
Right?
like.
I can't.
Really? We have quite a bit.
No, she
Yeah.
can. She can do 2.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't think it's like our quit your day job one.
Yeah.
Isn't that-
Don't lose your job over it.
So I made a
Don't stay
mistake.
home and watch it that many times.
Okay. So we're all, it's a binge-worthy. So
Yeah.
let's hear it for X-Files. That's it, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. And that's it.
Familiar was the one with it was
All
this
right.
Chucklehead guy.
I am.
Oh,